learn, network, add value, take action. If you do those things over and over and over again, success will hunt you down. It has to happen. That's how it happens. This whole year for me was learning. It was just, it doesn't matter what percentage, it doesn't matter what income, because I have a W-2. It's about the experience and the knowledge that I'm gaining from every one of these doors that I'm part of. We have this responsibility to go out and give people a better fighting chance when they transition and when they in service still. You don't have to wait years, 20 years to get your $2,000 or $3,000 a month, retirement check. You can.
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Elliott. Today, we are going to be jumping into a bunch of some hacks right here with house hacking and overall just military real estate investing. So there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of benefits that some people out there might not be aware of. So we got my good friend, Eric. What's up, man? How you doing today?
What's going on, Brandon? Hey, good to be on here, man.
Dude, I'm excited to have you on. I appreciate you taking your time out on a Labor Day. I know most of the country is out there vacationing and having fun. So I appreciate you giving back to the listeners today.
Every day is a Labor Day when you love what you do. So we'll put it in that context.
That's so true. So Eric, you've been doing this off and on for the last 14 years. I guess you got your first deal, but you've been taking it a heck of a lot more serious the last several years and really, really turning up. I mean, you're at 800 doors right now that you participate in. You got podcasts, you got education, you're helping out military, active, or veterans in so many different ways. If you don't mind, anybody out there that doesn't know exactly who you are, do you mind just diving into who you are, where you come from, and what you're doing today?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I am a husband of 14 years. I am a father of 2 boys, which is awesome. And later today, we will be out there doing some either fishing. We haven't decided yet. We're either going to fish or we're going to do some paddle boarding.
Okay.
Stand-up paddle boarding.
Nice.
But yeah, so background is, after college, I enlisted in the military, and I enlisted instead of becoming an officer. I chose the enlisted route because it paid off all of my, 2 reasons really. One, it paid off all of my college debt. So you can do that after the fact instead of using the GI Bill, or at least you could when I enlisted. The second reason is because since I was 12 years old working in the cornfields of Iowa, trying to get some extra summer cash, detasseling corn, walking through the corn rows, I know that I have always been an influencer. I've always been somebody who wants to lead a team, manage people. I wanted to be like the crew leader at the time, even when I was 12 years old. So recognizing that, I knew that as a 24-year-old man going into the military as an enlisted guy, I was going to be mentoring or able to mentor guys who were 18 years old and up. So I ended up in special operations, aviation, because of just my test score. I didn't even know what it was when I enlisted, but I spent my entire career in a special operations aviation regiment, and I got to lead 27 soldiers and get them enrolled in college, which to a lot of these guys was like college is for rich people or really smart people. And a lot of my guys had never left their county until they went to basic training. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
So then, fast forward a little ways. Now, one of the co-founders of Active Duty Passive Income, and our sole mission is financial freedom for those who serve, and kind of sprouted from our CEO and founder, Mark-Jan Sitch. He started this company from just the idea that, man, there's a serious financial illiteracy in the military. And that's just the truth of it. And it's not the military. So here's the other thing. It's not the military's role to teach us about finances. It's our role to fight wars and to keep the peace and to learn. And for a lot of people, it's just a W-2 job. For most people in the military, it's a W-2 job. You go from 9 to 5 and you come home and you have families and everything else. But what we all know now in this company is that we have this responsibility because we wish we had this information. We have this responsibility to go out and give people a better fighting chance when they transition and when they in service still. You don't have to wait years, 20 years to get your $2,000 or $3,000 a month, retirement check. You can build wealth along the way. And that's where kind of our book, Military House Hacking, was formed. And really, so anyway, long story short on that. Yeah, go ahead.
When you get educated yourself and there's another way and there's other options, it's almost like your responsibility. It's your duty to really help out more people and show them what you've discovered as well. So
I love this graphic. And for those who can see me, I've got one hand up and one hand down, or those of you who can't see me, two hands for a reason, right? And it's one hand to grab others and surround yourself by those 5 people that can pull you up. Yep. And the other one is to grab down and take people with you. And I thrive. It's funny because I tell people I do this almost for a selfish reason. I love the reaching down and grabbing. It's not really reaching down. That's just an analogy, right? Or a thing, but grabbing people around me and going, do you want to see this? I just learned this. Let me break it down for you, Barney style, and we can get it done together. Because it's so amazing and it's simplified.
It's fulfilling, it's fulfilling knowing that you're saving somebody so much time and all the heartache and trouble that you went through personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I went through a program. I still have a W-2 job as well, full time. And what I
actively right now?
Yeah, actively right now. Yeah. Okay. So several businesses and a W-2 and a family. And so if you think you can't do this on the side, you're wrong. You just have to prioritize and time block and all those other things. Right. So I love the education portion of this because, so I went through this Dream Manager program, and it's actually a book also that I highly recommend. But I learned through that process that, and this is just part of my self-development, that my life mission, just me personally, that's just my personality, God-given, I didn't choose it, it chose me, to educate, empower, and to help people grow. I thrive off of that. And so for me to connect with the military on this, I get to involve some of my favorite things, mentorship, I get to involve the military, and I get to involve real estate all in one thing. And that's why I love ADPI.
I love it. So ADPI, that stands for Active Duty Passive Income?
Correct. Yep. That is our community. We have a closed Facebook group, all veterans. We're about getting close to 5,000 members in there right now. And then, growing.
I love it. So you guys have a podcast, you have a book, you have, the whole nine. You and your company has also started a real estate division, like brokerage, insurance, like the whole nine, right?
Yeah. And so here's an interesting thing about this. So when we wrote the book, Military House Hacking, not as a moneymaker, it's tough to make money, as you know, in writing books, and that's not our thing. What you're doing is setting yourself up as the SME, right? The subject matter expert in something.
That's right.
And since Military House Hacking, which we can dive into later, hadn't been written, and we kind of trademarked that in our book. And now what this community has done for us is it's bringing people to us. So Gary Vee and some other people say, create a community first. Don't worry about the product. The product comes after the community, right? So you've got to learn, you've got to grow your network, and then you've got to add value to people, take action. And through that process, we've had people come to us and say, holy cow, you guys have something here. Let's build a mortgage branch. Let's build an insurance company. So all of this is like in-house stuff that we can offer people for the holistic approach to real estate investing for the military member. So now we're able to cut out all the BS on veterans getting taken advantage of for their mortgage loans. Not even just veterans, for anybody really.
Sure.
But we're able to do it cheaper, faster, better, which is important to us. And it's all veterans operating this as well. So, and the insurance company, it's not motorcycle insurance and all that stuff. It's real estate strategies. It's term life, but also whole life, infinite banking, which we're just starting. The mortgage company is up and going. We have ADPI Capital. We're actively investing as a team together. So it's been,
the list goes on and on and on. And you're a full-time husband, father. You got a W-2 as well. Plus you have all these other businesses.
Right.
I don't know how you're doing it, brother. That time management is on point, obviously.
Yeah, my team makes fun of me because I'm that guy who still uses Post-it notes all the time, and everyone's. We're using ClickUp and all kinds of shit.
I got mine as well. I got them all over the place. I need to I'm I'm trying to scale that back right now. It's a little aggressive.
But here's the thing though, man, whatever system works for you is okay.
Exactly.
You know, I use my phone for notes, and that works really well because I'm constantly sending people links to our investor forum or links to the webinar or whatever it is, you know? And so I'm picking up some things that really work for me as I travel also. But if I'm at home, man, I'll just use my notepad. I got a legal pad and some Post-it notes, and if it works for you, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because if you're having success, stick with what you got, you know?
It's so true.
Yeah.
So let's talk about real estate right now. You know, I know you got all these other businesses. What does your real estate portfolio look like? Or in general, like what are your goals and plans surrounding by real estate actively right now?
Yeah. So in the last 18 months is all I've been focusing on multifamily. Actually, I would say the last 18 months to 2 years is when I've been focusing on real estate, really. So 14 years ago is when I bought my single family property with a VA loan. Didn't know I was going to end up renting it out, but I did. I got out of the service in 2011.
Sure.
Couldn't sell it at the time because I used a VA loan. It was 100% leveraged, right?
Okay.
So fast forward, that became a rental, and I was like, well, I'm barely making it. I was making like $80 a month or something. But anytime a thermostat broke, because this is in Savannah, Georgia, anytime a thermostat broke on the air conditioner, it's like, there goes 3 months of cash flow, you know?
Yeah.
So that was like, man. And then I went to a single family boot camp, and I spent a bunch of money on education and the advanced training. And I really got upsold into that whole HGTV platform.
Yeah.
Which was fine, because what it did for me was it got me kickstarted into real estate. And I said, well, I'm invested in this now. I'm going to make something happen. And I was I was in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yep. And I realized very quickly that I'm not going to be able to go flip houses against people who have millions of dollars to burn in the Bay Area right now. So what I ended up doing for my capital building phase, which ended up being about 4 years, was live-in flipping. So my wife and I would move into a property. The first property that we did, actually, we didn't even think it was going to be, we were just buying it to live in.
Like a loan, like it was stressed that bad.
Imagine an Iowa kid, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm coming to California for college, whatever, meet my wife here, go to Georgia. And so far I hadn't bought a house in Georgia, but it was $150K, right? And then I moved to California when I got out, where my wife is from, the Bay Area. And I'm like, dude, I have to afford a $500,000 like little duet, you know, like an attached unit.
Yeah, like a garage.
That was like the cheapest thing I could find. It was a beautiful house, but it was attached, and it was a nice neighborhood or whatever. But so I could, with my W-2, I could barely afford that payment at the time. It was $500,000. 2 years later, it had appreciated substantially, and that was just with market appreciation.
Yeah,
my wife and I looked at each other and went, well, we could sell this and take that cash. I mean, that's amazing. It came out of nowhere. We didn't even put any money down on this place.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to remind me, I want to talk about the VA loan and the house hacking strategy for the military later, but
for sure.
So then we did another one. We bought a house 2 blocks from the beach in near Santa Cruz, California. And we actually forced appreciation on that one. 9 months later, it had appreciated almost $250,000 in 9 months.
Woo! I love it.
So we sold that one and moved again, did it again. And the whole time, kids in tow. My oldest was in kindergarten at the time.
Yeah. And
then the next house, he was in, first and second grade or whatever. So live-in flipping isn't for everybody, but it worked for us while our kids were young.
You need to have like a very strong significant other that is totally cool with it, because if one of you guys are off about this, it could be living hell, and you got to watch out for that.
Absolutely. It was calculated risk. My wife's a saint, and I think it worked well for us because she was already accustomed to me being. I deployed 6 times while I was in the military, and I was always at schools, and so she's a very independent person anyway.
Love it.
Also very understanding of the strategy and my drive, and she knows that there's nothing that's going to stand in my way, and knows that I take smart calculated risks with stuff, and we discuss it, and we have to be a team about it, right?
That's right. So overall, just any of the listeners tuning in right now, forced appreciation. There's a difference between forced and then the market appreciation. The market is natural on its own. It's luck or timing or your own due diligence before you jump into that market. Forced appreciation is more or less you're taking something distressed and you're doing that value add. You're making it brand new again. You're remodeling it. You're making it very nice. And it's comparable to the the other comps in the area of the ARV, the after repair value. At the end of the day, all real estate investors, in my personal opinion, are all about the value add. It's always the forced appreciation. It's the same thing with multifamily, which is like a long-term fix and flip pretty much, because you're doing the forced appreciation, getting distressed, making it nice, and then selling it or cash out refinance, selling it in the future.
Yeah. And so I did do some forced appreciation, but I just also fell into the San Francisco Bay Area market. Agnes actually, you'll talk to her later today, right? Yeah. She's doing that. She and I talked at an event recently, and which she's killing it. She's she's going to be an awesome guest for you too. Yeah. But so she can attest to this too, which is, you get we never invest now, I never invest for appreciation, but when it comes, that's amazing. And I happen to be buying in 2012 to 2015 Bay Area. So
it's a great timing. Yeah.
So the timing is good, but you also have to be willing to do the hard things, which is move your family around and
that's right.
And actually renovate. We took a 4-bedroom house on the beach and converted it into a 3-bedroom. Who removes a bedroom? Yeah. But I did, because I realized that community. So situational awareness is an important thing too.
Yes.
I realized that community in that area was mostly retirees now. People coming from other parts of California to retire on the ocean, and they don't need 4 bedrooms.
Nope.
And I realized that there was a small master bathroom and there was a small kind of area next to the kitchen. Sure. And so I just collapsed the middle room, and it added 6 feet to the master bathroom and 4 feet to the living space near the kitchen. And that just did it right there.
Yeah. You made it nicer and, more open plan, which is a lot more appealing.
Oh yeah.
Knowing your area is very crucial.
Yeah, and this house was awesome because it was just this little bungalow, but it had a 24 square foot master bathroom, and I put in copper piping outside and tiled with this beautiful blue ceramic tile, had an outdoor shower plumbed with hot water and everything.
Love it.
Come out of the beach and just rinse off right on your outside. Dude, I actually ended up showering outside more than I did inside.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about the VA loan for a second. Yeah. And for anybody out there that doesn't know exactly what the VA loan is or how it can benefit them if they are active or retired veteran.
Yeah. Anybody who has served, and there's some caveats in there, it has to be 90 days and whatever, but by and large, everyone who serves ends up with the VA loan eligibility, and that is for life. It's not just while you serve. Typically, people will say that you're only allowed to have one VA loan out at a time. You can there's several instances where you can have multiple VA loans at the same time. The VA loan is an owner-occupied loan. It is not an investor loan. However, it does allow you to buy a single family, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex.
That's right.
So what we talk about in the book is this whole strategy. And I'll just put this out there like this. If you're listening to this and you're in the military or you're a veteran, consider this. Or even if you have a family member maybe that is you can always partner with them on something like this too. So you can buy a fourplex with 0 money down, 0 PMI. There's no PMI on a VA loan, even when you're 100% loan to value.
Isn't that amazing? I love that part. I mean, nothing out of pocket. That's awesome.
And if you don't have a disability rating, there is a VA loan funding fee, which is between 1% and 3% of the loan, but
you can wrap it up into the loan.
That can be wrapped up in the loan, as well as a VA loan, a VA rehab loan. Can't knock walls down and stuff like that, but if it needs some sprucing up, you can wrap in some of your costs into the loan as well with a VA rehab loan. So
is that what it's called? It's a VA rehab loan?
It's like a 203K, but for
the FHA 203K. Yeah.
So, and I haven't used that personally, but one of my partners, Tim Kelly, has used that on a triplex that he owns. So you live in one unit. Now picture this: you're renting out the other 3. You're living for free and earning cash flow from the other 3 tenants, ideally. And I would expect that those numbers are run beforehand, that you can doing that.
Yeah.
So then you're going to take what I would do in this scenario, and several of our members, our constituents are doing this now in the military. You take that cash flow and you put it down, you pay down the principal. Because if you're active duty, you still have a W-2. You still have income coming in. So you don't need that income from the other tenants, right? Or if you're out, you probably have a W-2 job as well, and you don't need the income. So pay down the principal. And if it takes you 1 year or 2 years or whatever it is to get down to 80-85% loan to value on that property, then you can refinance it to a conventional loan, freeing up your VA loan. eligible, your eligibility is back.
Sure.
You can move and buy another fourplex and live in that one also. And then you've got a cash flowing fourplex that you put no money into, and you're just repeating the process.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing thing. And you can do this. It doesn't have to be fourplex. Like I said, duplex, triplex, fourplex, or we have guys doing single families also. It's just it's typical house hacking, right? You have a young lieutenant who buys a house at Fort Benning, Georgia, and he rents out the other 2 rooms or 3 bedrooms to his fellow lieutenants that he's going to Ranger school with or something.
Yep.
He can make cash flow. They're using their basic allowance for housing to pay for the rent, and everybody wins.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone, that's exactly the definition of house hacking. You don't need to have multiple units, but the more bedrooms that you have, et cetera, the more spots that you can rent out per bedroom or what have you, that's extra income coming in. So get as big as possible, as many units as you can. Residential, multifamily, 4 units and under, you can get away with on the VA. So that's powerful, and have no money into it. Get a little bit of money if you need some little sprucing up for the rehab. It's powerful. I love it.
Absolutely.
So you have used this several times in the past?
I have used the VA loan several times. Hold on a second. Let me maximize my, okay, sorry. So I've used the VA loan several times in the past, and I've had 2 simultaneous VA loans as well. So there are approximately, and don't quote me on this, but approximately 66 counties in the US that have a higher cost of living than the typical. So it used to be, when I was in, up until recently, actually, the VA loan cap that you could finance 100% was like $417,000. Then it went up to like $485,000. They recently, and this is why we're revising our book, one of the reasons anyway, they recently announced that they're going to be removing the cap on how much they will finance at 100% loan to value. So that's going to be great. It used to be
removed.
Yeah. So it used to be, and I don't know all the caveats on that. Our lenders are going to be explaining that in our book, and we're going to have all that run down. And actually, it's all still being kind of figured out as well. So,
yeah.
But it used to be you had a certain amount of eligibility. So if you bought a house for 150, you'd still have 300,000, give or take, of eligibility left.
Sure.
That you could use somewhere else if there was a higher cost of living. And like San Francisco Bay Area, the cap was like 679.
Yeah.
And so, and anything above that, if you bought a $800,000 house, you just have to pay 25% of the difference between the cap and the purchase price. So, and I've done that too. I had to in the Bay Area,
Okay. And there's also hacks within it. This is an owner occupied type of hack here. So you do need to live there, but you technically only actually need to live there for 1 year, correct?
Yeah, it's actually, there is no, that's typically what people say, but there isn't any rule that says specifically. I use that rule because that makes me feel comfortable. And the last thing I want to do is abuse some privilege that I've earned, right? It shouldn't be an investor. This isn't an investor specific strategy. We don't want to treat it that way. It's a place that you and your family live. And if you're smart, you do what we just talked about, right? Yeah. So yeah, typically people say live in it for a year, but there isn't any law or rule by the VA that says the timeline that you have to live in it. It does say you need to intend to occupy within 60 days.
Okay.
I've even heard people say that they got a VA rehab loan and the construction took longer than 60 days and they had to get somewhere to live. So they actually ended up never even moving into the property.
Oh, wow.
So it just depends. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know with like FHA traditional, if you're trying to get away with, if you're not VA, there's similar programs, but you still need to come out of pocket a little bit, 3.5 or so.
Yeah, which is still awesome. And we have people doing that too. FHA, if you can calculate in the PMI and still cash flow, then sweet.
All day. And rent out those extra rooms. If you're a one-man band and you don't have a huge family yet or whatever it is, get as many rooms as you can and get as many units as you can, most importantly, because you can live in it for 1 year legally or whatever it is, and then move out and start renting somewhere cheaper, but you spruced up your units that you can get higher rent. It just makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, one of the strategies is living for one cycle in your unit and renovating it and then moving to the next one and renovating it. And then by the time you're done, you get a reappraisal. You're like, okay, sweet, cash.
Yeah. It's all about that forced depreciation. So that's awesome. The value add.
Yep.
So that's house hacking, and it's the power behind it. I'm sure everybody, all the listeners can really tune in and grasp that idea. It's super powerful. You guys kind of started the domino effect and the snowball building of your real estate career in that atmosphere. You guys have switched over currently into, I mean, you're doing a million things, to be honest, but you switched over more into the multifamily syndication realm. I knew you personally, heard really good things about you before we met in person, but we did get to meet at the Denver Rod Cleef syndication. So what is your history with that right now? And what are your plans and goals?
Yeah, so I guess this is a prime example of me interrupting myself earlier. You asked what my portfolio looks like and how it was transitioning, and I went on some kind of crazy tirade about something.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. The people needed to hear it.
So, man, right now I have 7 single-family properties, which has been in the last 2 years, and we've sold a few of them also.
Yeah. And
those are all in Kansas City.
Okay.
A partner that I grew up with, I've known for 30 years or something, and he and I do business there. But that has slowed down because I've been really focusing on multifamily. So I started, one of my buddies, this is a funny story. He was my wedding photographer, and he was on my wife's gymnastics team in college. So I know him well. He's now syndicated $1.5 billion of real estate. And so I went in and learned from him. I picked his brain one day, met his offices down in Tarzana.
Okay.
I was like, hey, man.
Where are you located? Sorry.
I'm in Northern California.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, so let me just give you an example, Eric, of how this would have gone. Had you invested in this deal that we just sold, and you had invested $100,000, it's just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
He's like, your $100,000, I would have paid you back in 5 years. I would have paid you back $290,000. And I was just like, and so that was a home run for him, but they forced appreciation. It was like a 290 unit deal and whatever. So everyone made money. It was awesome. And so then I was like, okay, well, let me see about this real quick. So my first experience with a syndication was as a limited partner. So I was a limited partner passive investor on 439 unit mobile home community.
Okay.
And I was able to, learn how to talk to investors because he's my friend. I specifically asked, like, what is a 70-30 split? What's an 8 pref? What is this? What is that? Right. And so I kind of was like, okay, this is big. Like, I don't know how he does that. But then fast forward a year, I went to the first Rod Cleef event, my first Rod Cleef event. And actually, I didn't even know who Rod was at the time.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't even know that syndicating multifamily properties was like possible for a regular guy. So that was my introduction 18 months ago to really getting in and doing my own deals in multifamily. So right now I've got technically 217 doors until this next 208 unit closes. That'll put me at 505 by the end of September.
Love it.
575 on the limited partnership. I also, with my self-directed IRA, I invest in other people's deals because the velocity of money, right? You got to just keep money moving. Anytime.
Different baskets, man. Keep it moving.
Absolutely. And in 10 years, I would love to just be a passive investor, just investing in LPs, and my family and I can just kick it on a beach somewhere and take those checks and depreciate our investments. So
I feel like not enough people actually acknowledge and realize, like, if you have money in the bank and it's just sitting there and, you are thinking about real estate, that's awesome. You can get active as you want. Yeah. But what I've noticed is a lot of the really smart investors, like the end goal, they might have worked their butt off the whole career crushing it in real estate investing actively. And then at the end, they turn into that money partner doing the syndications or just big deals as the money partner and acting like the bank. It's it's the best spot to be in.
Yeah. I invest with my self-directed IRAs with Horizon Trust, and I met Greg Herline at an event, and he wrote the book Bank on This, I think, or something, and a couple other Flip Bank Live or something like that also. So anyway, I kind of started understanding. I was like, okay, well, I can take charge of my own investment. And then to top it off, I read, if you guys haven't read Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game. That'll change your mentality, man. You're just going to be like, I'm pulling my money out of my IRA. I'm going to roll it over to a self-directed IRA tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
So it's a long read. Unshakable, I think, is the abridged version of that, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's powerful. I remember reading it and thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, it's an eye-opener.
Yeah.
So as far as learning curves go, I'm sure along the road, there's been some learning curves as far as real estate investing goes. Is there anything that stands out to you that might be beneficial to the audience, either getting started or just along the process of like lending your money out or doing some of the deals you're doing?
Yeah, so I've done a pretty horizontal track learning curve, right? I'm a guy who, like I said earlier, I want to learn something, break it down into a really simple process, and then help other people learn it. So what I did was I've done some private lending. I've done live-in flips, as I said, single family flips, small multifamily flips. I've done tax lien investing, first trust deeds. And both of those were through my IRA, my self-directed IRA. So kind of trying to learn as much about this business and all these different baskets as I can. And I know now that I read the 16% Solution, right? The tax lien book.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, I'm going to do it. And so I've got some money in tax liens. I hate it. I wish I could cash it out now. It's too slow for me. I don't have any control. It's just not my thing. So I would tell your listeners, forget about tax liens. And
it's so funny. I initially, like, where I got my interest from was tax liens. I think I went to an event or something. They upsold me on like, run to the back. You got to get our course on this.
Me too. I did the same thing, and it's fine. I mean, they'll pay off someday. I've actually lost money in tax liens, and I've made a little bit of money in tax liens. But I just, like, to me, it's like, I don't know how, and I don't want to know how to force a foreclosure on somebody. And it's just, to me, it's like, it's not my bag. So I'd rather be a little bit more active right now and have a little bit more control over what I'm doing and what I know and what I like. So anyway, but as far as actually your beginners, if you want to get started in this, I'll say this. The first thing you have to do is learn. Yeah. Then you have to network like crazy. When we're talking about spending 10 years from now, just investing in limited partnerships, all these relationships that we're all building right now together are going to be around in 20 years. And it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. I want as many people to know me as possible, even the haters. Yeah. As long as they know how to spell my name right? That's what Cardone says. Because then I know people that I can trust with my money down the road, and that's going to make me be able to, like I say, I want to be able to give away $1 million every year. How do I do that? Well, it's not by sitting and having nobody know who I am and what where my heart is and what I can do. So you have to network. That's step 2. And then you have to take action. You have to add value, and then you have to take action. So learn, network, add value, take action. If you do those things over and over and over again, success will hunt you down. It has to happen. That's how it happens. But you have to be someone who's disciplined, and that's why I love working with the military and veterans, because we're a disciplined bunch. Yep. We go by checklists. We don't miss things along the way because they're standard operating procedure, and it says do this, then this, then this. And our team at ADPI Capital and ADPI, that's what we do. We create systems so that we're not overlooking something. So we have everyone's best interest in mind, and we get it done the right way the first time. So that's fun for us, and looking forward to having a long career in this industry, and one that I can not only help myself and my family, but help so many other people that want to learn this business. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, networking is everything. Your personal brand, getting out there. If you do want to take this serious, start building your brand and let people know exactly who you are, where your heart's at, what your intentions are, being a man or a woman of your word, having good people like within your team that are holding you accountable, which is awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say this about the ADPI team, man. There are 13 people now behind the scenes, well, all together, in front of the scenes, behind the scenes at ADPI. Yeah, and we're just doing so many amazing things, and I want to talk about that a little bit later. I want to talk about ADPI Helps and also all the free stuff that we have, because that is what's really gonna light a fire under somebody, is if they have something for free where they can just go, okay. Let's go. Let's get started, Run
with it. Yeah. Let's get off this podcast and let's get to it. I love it. Yeah. So I just want to add really quickly as well, just my 2 cents behind. If you are just getting started, I do highly recommend doing just a little bit of research on all the different strategies out there, because, me and Eric, we don't resonate with the tax liens, but who knows? Maybe you do. Maybe your time, your resources, your finances, everything all aligns, and you're like gravitated towards that. Yeah. Then soak that in. There's 37 plus ways. Some people say there's like 100 ways out there to make money in real estate. I truly, truly believe in and recommend do just a little bit of education on every single one. to get the breakdown of what beginning to end looks like, and do you resonate with those strategies? Whichever one you gravitate towards and you really, I think I can do this. Afterwards, dive into some strong education, all the books, all the podcasts, all the YouTube.
How about coaching?
Like go to the local RIA groups and find other people that are crushing that strategy. Find people for coaching that are doing that strategy and dive exactly into that, so you can get it to that next level of figuring out that location, start building the relationships like crazy in that area, and then getting people to send you deals so you can start analyzing those deals and take it from there. But Eric, I appreciate you so much. Where does your future like hold for you? Like, what do you see the next couple years look like?
So I set the goal of 800 doors in 2019. I foresee me getting real close to that with my team. As I said earlier, the ADPI Capital team, and just me with other ventures on the side. I should have close to 800, but it's not about door count. It's about learning. This whole year for me was learning. It was just, it doesn't matter what percentage, it doesn't matter what income, because I have a W-2. It's about the experience and the knowledge that I'm gaining from every one of these doors that I'm part of.
Okay.
So what 2019 or 2020 looks like, what year are we in? Yeah. 2020, what 2020 looks like is 1,600 door goal. I want to give more. I want to at least double what I would like to give away by the end of the year, if not triple it. And, we have ADPI Helps, which is ADPI is active duty passive income, but then Helps is an acronym for helping everyone live post-stress. And that is our PTSD and addiction support outlet. We have a free monthly Zoom call. It's an accountability call, and people can come into that anonymously. So I want to grow that, because our mission with ADPI Helps is we understand in real estate that we can change lives, right?
Yeah.
But with ADPI Helps, we have the opportunity to save a life. And so our mission is simply save one life as many times as we possibly can. And on our first Zoom call, we actually had one of our members, Russ, he said, ADPI has already saved my life. He's a VA hospital inpatient for alcoholism, and he's had a tremendous, he's been sober for 90 days now or so, and he's just doing amazing. And so anyway, the struggle is real. What we're doing is allowing people to come and connect with us. We are veterans. We have PTSD and issues. We understand it fully. I think veterans helping veterans is something that should happen even more so than government, VA helping veterans.
That's right.
So yeah, and then we offer, people can write for our blog series, Save One Life blog series, which is a therapeutic kind of outlet, to be able to write down your story. And man, I could go on and on and on about my experience with therapy and writing and just getting through it. So yeah, we're blessed to be able to have a community that we can affect and that we can offer support to. And then we have, a private Voxer channel, which is kind of like WhatsApp. It's a walkie-talkie, app. Our team uses that to communicate all day because we're all across the country. But we have now a private Voxer channel as well for ADPI Helps, so that vets can come in for free. They can even be anonymous, just need their username, and then we'll add them to the channel and they can talk to us. No questions asked, no judgment. Just an amazing thing to see what's going on. So
I love that. I know you said it's a blessing for everybody, and at the end of the day, it's definitely it's a blessing, I'm sure, on their end to have you in there as well. So that's awesome, the community that you've built, and getting your story out there is so crucial, because we've all come from something. So there's pain, there's issues along the way, and getting your story out there, you never know who you can actually help out and impact their life, that's the key. Just save one life, which is awesome.
Yep. Save one life. That's right.
So Eric, how can people get a hold of you? How can they get in contact and all the different resources? I know you guys have so much education for free out there, which is awesome. You're going to hook it up. So how can people get a hold of you and attach to that stuff?
So first off, you can email me at eric@activedutypassiveincome.com. Real Eric Upchurch on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. I'll always respond to your messages and stuff. But yeah, so ADPI also, if you want to get engaged, if you're a veteran or you know a veteran or you're active duty military, even Space Force or whatever you want, we've got our free. This book is actually free. It's on Amazon if you like hard copy, but it's free on our website, so you don't have to pay for it. So we have a VA loan mastery course that's free. We have an app called REI Cash Flow Calculator that has the ADPI brand on it. but it'll walk you through kind of how to build cash flow, and you can track your cash flow. The podcast, I've been blessed. I got to interview Grant Cardone on our podcast. Mike Foster is our host. He interviewed Robert Kiyosaki, of course, Rod Cleef, and a bunch of, all the rich dad advisors. And we have ebooks, financial freedom blueprints, kind of even to show people how to get out of debt. The Facebook group, we have free webinars, free Q&A, and we also have a tax advisor that does free consultations as well. He's an enrolled agent, which is a federal, like people say, is it a CPA? No, he's at the next kind of level. He's an enrolled agent with the IRS, so he's tested at the federal level. And he does free consultations too. He's the ADPI tax advisor, and he's my personal tax advisor.
Okay.
So all that stuff is free, and there's a ton more, but that's kind of a general way. So our website's great, and you can get all that information there as well.
Whew, I love it. You guys have so much content. That's awesome. And it's so needed. There's so many people out there that are interested in getting started. They just don't know where to go. So I'm glad that you guys have those resources, and your heart's obviously in the right place. Eric, dude, I'm so blessed to have you on here. I know,
Anytime.
You're supposed to be with family right now. It's Labor Day, and instead you're giving back to the listeners. So you are the man. I do definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Glad to.
Yeah,
Glad
man.
to contribute.
So Eric Upchurch, everyone, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you share this content out there. And hit that subscribe button on Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Also, make sure you leave a review. Let me know who else you want on here. And if there's anything that I can ever do for you guys, just reach out. You can find me at BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Otherwise, Instagram, Brandon Elliott Investments, and then Facebook.com/Brandon Elliott REI. Till next time, guys, stay blessed.
Thanks, Brandon.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.